Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the biggest VR lineups we've seen in years, covering every major title revealed at the VR Games Showcase 2025 and 2026 are sure shaping up to be absolute monsters for VR players. We're looking at 22 brand new VR games, breaking down what they offer and why they deserve a spot on your radar. Let's get into it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Empire City. Sliding into the first big highlight, we've got something massive brewing for turtle fans. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Empire City brings the franchise into first-person VR for the very first time, and you can expect a full action-adventure experience that treats New York as a vertical playground. The story picks up after Shredder's fall, with the Foot Clan tightening control over every block, and you stepping in as Leo, Raph, Donnie, or Mikey. The Turtles fight with their own signature weapon style, complete with timed strikes, blocks, and fluid parkour as you move through rooftops and alleys. The game supports solo play or co-op with up to 3 friends, and it's aiming for a 2026 release.
Logic dictates that every problem has a rational solution.
You love and you hate, and now you're alone.
Star Trek Infection. And keeping that momentum rolling, the next title takes us straight into one of the darkest corners of the Star Trek universe. Star Trek Infection is a full-body VR survival horror experience where you step into the role of a Vulcan Starfleet officer stranded aboard the ruined USS Lumen. The crew is missing. An unknown entity has overrun the ship, and that same organism is now mutating your body from the inside. You can expect to use your medical tricorder to monitor your condition, stabilize the infection with hyposprays, or lean into unstable mutations for new abilities. Exploration, scanning, stealth, phaser combat, crafting, and mind-bending psychological sequences shape this narrative-driven journey. The Lightkeepers. Moving deeper into the theme of isolation and dread, The Lightkeepers introduces a world where light itself is a fragile resource, and every night threatens to erase what little safety remains. You follow Guardians, sworn to protect the last beacons of illumination, as waves of impossible creatures rise from the darkness. Each assault forces you to manage dwindling light sources, reinforce defenses, and trust the few allies still standing. The story leans heavily into mystery and survival, revealing what these Guardians sacrificed to keep extinction at bay. With an atmosphere shaped by tension, shifting threats, and a world collapsing into shadow, the game builds its experience around courage, persistence, and the terrifying cost of keeping the lights alive. EXOSHOCK. Now, moving into pure sci-fi intensity, EXOSHOCK throws you into a cooperative PvE shooter built entirely around squad tactics and dynamic battlefields. You're dropped straight into hostile war zones where quick calls and coordinated pushes determine whether the squad survives or gets overwhelmed. Players can expect full loadout, customization, class-leaning playstyles, and missions that shift mid-operation thanks to adaptive AI, like derelict ships crawling with Ravagers or failing life support systems that force sudden route changes. With Unreal Engine 5 powering the visuals, every firefight is cinematic, from ricochets lighting up corridors to emergency klaxons echoing through dark hulls. Designed for 1 to 4 players, evolving updates, and high replayability, EXOSHOCK is targeting a Q1 2026 launch. Wrath Aeon of Ruin VR. Jumping from sci-fi warfare into something far more brutal. Wrath Aeon of Ruin VR brings old-school FPS design into full VR form, using the legendary Quake engine as its foundation. You step into the role of the Outlander, tasked by the mysterious shepherd of wayward souls to hunt corrupted guardians across crypts, sunken ruins, corrupted temples, and forests. Swallowed by darkness, players can expect dual-wielding combat, semi-manual reloads, physical melee strikes, throwable artifacts, and redesigned weapons rebuilt entirely for VR. The game introduces a full VR UI, weapon wheels, hand-based HUD elements, a 3D lore journal, and an updated save system. With world-scale exploration and fast, 90s-inspired combat, this revamped version is coming out soon. Lushfoil Photography Simulator, VR. Shifting gears into something calm and visually rich, Lushfoil Photography Sim delivers a grounded exploration and photography experience built around recreations of real-world landscapes. Every environment is crafted in Unreal Engine 5 with meticulous detail, giving you full freedom to roam, discover hidden paths, and capture shots using a deeply customizable DSLR-style camera system. You can expect adjustable focus, exposure, aperture, contrast, burst modes, and even environmental controls for lighting, fog, rain, wind, and snow. Every location includes objectives, secrets, unlockable cameras, and tools like a first-person drone or a rowboat for new angles. With an ambient, ethereal soundtrack and highly optimized performance, the VR release, arriving December 5th, expands this tranquil world into full immersion.
Match made.
Glassbreakers, Champions of Moss. Keeping the momentum going, Glassbreakers, Champions of Moss takes the strategic direction of the Moss universe and transforms it into a fast-paced, competitive VR arena. You build a squad from 12 champions, each carrying unique abilities, roles, and tactical synergies that determine how you counter, combo, and pressure opponents. Expect real-time hex-based battles across multiple arenas, short 10-minute matches, and deep mastery built around positioning, timing, and protecting your glass while trying to shatter the enemies. The game supports 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2, 1 versus 2, AI skirmishes, and full cross-platform play. With unlockable champions, hundreds of cosmetics, ranked progression, and tactile board interactions, Polyarch's VR strategy title is already out with competitive depth at its core. Bootstrap Island, out now in early access. Staying on the survival path but raising the stakes dramatically, Bootstrap Island puts you in the aftermath of a 17th century shipwreck. With nothing but instinct and whatever you can scavenge, the island reacts to everything. Fire spreads, water floods, weather shifts, predators hunt at night, and every object follows realistic physics. You can expect a rogue-like structure where each run reshuffles resources, events, wildlife, tools, and environmental hazards. Survival pushes you to climb, swim, craft, and improvise, while discovering fragments of the protagonist's life before the wreck longer. So runs unlock new items, and global leaderboards track how far each attempt takes you. Currently in early access, the full launch is planned for the first quarter of 2026, with expanded biomes, story chapters, and new creatures.
You need to go into the dungeon, deliver the packages, bring back the money, and maybe don't die.
That's cool.
It's gonna be so easy.
We are delivering.
Deadly Delivery. Rolling straight into co-op chaos, Deadly Delivery turns parcel dropping into a survival job inside pitch-black haunted mines. You and up to 3 other delivery goblins navigate procedurally generated tunnels filled with monsters that react to sound, movement, and even your proximity, voice chat. Expect physics-based VR interactions, hauling packages, climbing on teammates, slapping someone to panic them back into focus, or sprinting together when something starts hunting. The mines shift each run, forcing new routes and new threats, including creatures that mimic teammates to break coordination. Progression brings gear upgrades, pets, cosmetics, and better tools to hit delivery quotas before the shift ends. With full cross-platform online co-op, the game launches on the 4th of December 2025. Primal Rumble. Keeping things light after all that horror, Primal Rumble jumps in as a chaotic cartoon-style VR and mixed reality brawler built entirely around turn-based card combat. You collect a roster of goofy primals, each with their own personality, animations, and over-the-top moves, punches, stomps, dances, and even the occasional tactical fart. You can expect a free-to-play structure where your first 2 primals start your journey, and more than 300 cards become available as you progress. Deck building is the core loop, with new abilities unlocking through solo play, PvP duels, or full 4-player rumble modes. Skins, arenas, and character flair round out the customization, while pass-through support lets battles unfold right inside your room.
Welcome to Scrollfort Reach, your new home. A place of peace and harmony, of beauty and joy, and most importantly, orc-free.
Orcs Must Die by the Blade. Sliding into pure mayhem, Orcs Must Die by the Blade brings the trap-filled chaos of the franchise straight into VR, putting orcs directly in your face, sometimes literally. You step into the role of a war mage on Stormwreck Island, where corrupted rifts are spewing out louder, dumber, and infinitely smellier orcs. You can expect full melee combat with physical sword swings, punches, magical abilities, and trinket activations, all tied into the series' signature trap-building system, chains of spike floors, launch pads, crushers, and explosives. Send orcs flying, snapping limbs, and covering arenas in gooey carnage. The campaign supports solo play or 2-player co-op, letting you heal rifts, construct defenses, and strategize together through fortress layouts and escalating waves.
Be the bullet hell with your face.
Vampire Survivors. Switching things up with a genre titan, Vampire Survivors brings its chaotic, time-based survival formula to center stage with the same snowballing power fantasy that made it a global phenomenon. You mow through thousands of monsters while slowly building a run-defining loadout from weapons, passives, evolutions, and upgrades. Every minute ramps the pressure until the screen turns into a living bullet hell where your character becomes the storm. You can expect roguelite progression, gold-based meta upgrades, 4-player local co-op, dozens of characters, hundreds of achievements, and an avalanche of free updates and DLC expansions, runs reward experimentation, and the game's minimalist controls make its escalating chaos easy to pick up but endlessly compelling to master. Penguin Festival. Lightening things up again, Penguin Festival drops you into a cozy Antarctic town where you play as an actual penguin, helping the community prepare for its annual celebration. You can expect a relaxed VR adventure built around exploration, charming characters, and physics-driven interactions, from fishing and snowball fights to playful tasks scattered across the snowy streets. Daytime focuses on finishing festival to-dos at your own pace, while nighttime shifts into a full celebration with games, music, and a lively crowd. The game supports standing or seated play, a spectator camera for sharing VR moments, and multiple comfort options, including teleportation or smooth locomotion. With its focus on feel-good immersion and zero time pressure, the full release is planned for the third quarter of 2026. Knights of Fiona. Shifting back into high fantasy, Knights of Fiona takes you to the kingdom of Gallia, where dragons and an ancient darkness threaten the land. You join Fiona and her sworn knights on a story-driven VR adventure that can be tackled solo or with up to 2 friends. You can expect a character-focused narrative supported by a large cast of NPCs, interactions designed specifically for VR, and quests that take you from Gallia's bustling train station to coastal ports and far-ranging battlefields. Combat centres on facing hordes of enemies and large-scale boss encounters, including fierce dragons that anchor the game's major set pieces. With a focus on world-building, exploration, and cooperative adventuring, the release date is still to be announced. Gunman contracts stand alone. Keeping the action high, Gunman contracts is a standalone that steps in as a full VR and non-VR shooter, built from the ground up after the success of the original Half-Life Alyx mods. You play as a professional hitman, operating out of a customizable gunman's base, where weapons can be stored, modded and tested across gun range courses, bullet penetration labs, and enemy challenge rooms. You can expect contracts that send you into criminal strongholds to rescue hostages, dismantle operations, and take down armed gangs using pistols, rifles, shotguns, knives, or even a bow and arrow. The early access launch begins with core systems and the first contract, expanding over time with more missions, weapons, challenges, and gameplay modes. Banners and Bastions. Jumping straight into mixed reality strategy, this next experience turns your room into a battlefield where invading forces close in every night with tougher enemies and shifting tactics. You can expect to expand your army by investing in farms for a stronger economy, then recruiting archers, spearmen, swordsmen, rangers, and knights to hold the line. Defenses like towers, walls, and thorns let you redirect enemy paths and lock down choke points, and procedurally generated terrain keeps each run unpredictable. High ground placements, blocked routes, and smart positioning become crucial once bosses appear to guard progression. Winning battles earns stars that unlock troop upgrades, spells, and specialization perks across a 36-node tree. With hand tracking, endless campaign modes, and leaderboards, the challenge scales endlessly. VR giants. Shifting into one of the most unique co-op ideas in VR, this game pairs one VR player with a gamepad player inside the same world, turning teamwork into the entire foundation of progression. The VR player becomes a towering giant whose body acts as platforms, bridges and shields, while the tiny screen-controlled character navigates puzzles, hazards and switches that reposition the giant across each level. You can expect 22 levels in early access, collectible cosmetics, and an adventure that spans deserts, icebergs, lava caverns and grassy hills. Special states like Solid Goliath, Temporary Goliath, and Fire Goliath add complexity to puzzle solving. With active physical movement and upcoming full online co-op, it's designed for shared play and creative communication. Kartoffl. Keeping things playful, Kartoffl brings a charming, Lemmings-inspired puzzle adventure into VR, where your mission is to guide wandering, clueless spuds safely through increasingly complex levels. Each potato marches forward with no awareness of danger, so you'll manipulate the environment, placing devices, redirecting paths, and timing interactions to keep them from stumbling into pits, traps, or hazards. You can expect intuitive VR controls, snappy interactions, and a visual style packed with personality. Beyond simply escorting them from point A to point B, levels hide collectible stars that push you to think creatively and react quickly. Playable, seated, standing, or in full room scale VR, the game blends time-sensitive puzzles with close-up environmental tinkering that makes every rescue feel hands-on and hectic. Aerosurfer. And for something built entirely around momentum and precision, this next title drops you into a high-speed flight experience where your hands become the wings themselves. You control each wing through intuitive VR motion, carving through handcrafted tracks and learning how to maintain perfect flow as you skim the ground for extra speed. Every run becomes a balance between risk and mastery, shaving seconds off turns, threading through tight gaps, and pushing as close to the terrain as possible to hit top velocity. You can expect ghost races, time-chasing challenges, and global leaderboards that track your best routes. It's all about refining control, memorizing lines, and building the muscle memory needed to glide through each course at breakneck pace. Full Steam Undead. Ramping the chaos back up, Full Steam Undead mixes zombie blasting with a fully drivable rune-powered steam engine in a Victorian open-world adventure. You're tasked with cleansing Necropolis Island on behalf of Queen Victoria, rolling through haunted terrain and shredding undead swarms from the cab of your customizable locomotive. It's all about frantic FPS combat, free exploration with zero loading screens, and dynamic encounters where placid zombies can suddenly erupt into full island-wide rage. The world combines occult mystery with tongue-in-cheek storytelling, complete with motion-captured characters and voice acting. Crypt reconsecration challenges introduce minecart set pieces, bullet hell sequences, and boss fights. With extensive comfort, difficulty, and gameplay options, the game is planned for release in 2026.
Thanks.
Put your hands up.
Okay,
You'll need a skill set
Give me the gun.
I'm gonna drop it nice and slow.
that few possess. These missions will provide it.
Espire MR Missions. Shifting into mixed reality stealth, Espire MR Missions transforms your own room into an adaptive battlefield using the Espire spatial adaptation system. Instead of placing objects arbitrarily, the game analyzes your walls, furniture, ceiling height, and layout to rebuild each mission uniquely around your space. You'll see guards taking cover behind your actual couch, trip mines stretching across real hallways, and weapons appearing on shelves and tables. Across 30 missions, 22 small-scale and 8 larger operations, you can expect stealth surveillance, close quarters combat, agility challenges with laser grids, and puzzles that use tools like Espire vision to scan through walls. Virtual roller doors reveal massive environments beyond your room. And early access launches December 2025 to expand features with community feedback.
Your toolkit is simple: a screwdriver, grinder, pliers, hammer, and wrench. Nothing fancy, but here's where it gets interesting. Combine them, experiment, improvise.
Fixer Undercover. Diving back into undercover work, Fixer Undercover VR drops you into Redemption Prison, posing as a harmless handyman while secretly dismantling Warden Kozlov's criminal operation. Instead of spy gadgets, you rely on real tools, drills, grinders, pliers, hammers, and wrenches to bypass locks, cut through vents, and break security systems using physics-driven interactions and haptic feedback. The entire prison functions as one large environmental puzzle where observation and improvisation matter as much as precision. Winston, your drone partner, scouts corridors, hacks systems, and feeds you intel as you piece together the conspiracy behind Kozlov's born-again rehabilitation scam. Designed by former escape room creators, the game aims for the first quarter of 2026, with VR-first mechanics built around hands-on problem-solving. And that wraps up all 22 new VR games coming in 2025 and 2026. An insane mix of genres, mechanics, and ideas that show just how fast VR is evolving. If you want story-driven worlds, high-intensity co-op, inventive puzzle design, or full mixed reality immersion, this lineup has something worth keeping an eye on. Tell me which game you're most excited for, and if you want deep dives, previews, or ranked lists, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and catch you in the next one.
Logic dictates that every problem has a rational solution.
You lie, and you hate, and now you're alone.